This is a robbery for the New York Jets as we've been named the perfect landing spot for a late round sleeper quarterback in the upcoming NFL draft. And we got to break it all down. What's up, guys? I'm Matt Long. Welcome to Jets Football 365. If you're a New York Jet fan, please hit that subscribe button. Only 17.2% of viewers are subscribed to the channel, and it really helps me out a ton. But let's jump right into what we got for today. ESPN's Ben Solak went through each and every quarterback for the upcoming draft and named the perfect landing spot fit-wise and skills-wise, and the New York Jets were named the perfect landing spot for a quarterback that I bet you not a lot of people have heard of. That quarterback is Cole Payton from North Dakota State. Coming from Ben Solak of ESPN, Coach Aaron Glenn likes quarterback mobility. His quarterbacks have historically struggled with mobile quarterbacks. Defensive coaches gravitate on offense towards what gives them trouble on defense, and Glenn was quick to advocate for Justin Fields as the first stopgap option in New York. Payton was a Taysom Hill-like playmaker for North Dakota State over his college career. Solak then continued saying, "I really like Payton as a day 3 option accordingly. He provides short yardage value as an option quarterback with a bulky frame and great tackle breaking ability. Most quarterback runners are long striders who avoid contact, but Payton can actually run through it like a goal line back. As a one-year starter, the lefty showed good willingness to test intermediate and downfield windows. Payton has a huge dip in his throwing motion, and retooling his release into a quicker motion would help make up for his average ball velocity." So Cole Payton is, formerly, now going on to the NFL, but formerly the starting quarterback for North Dakota State. I know they are an FCS school, which means that they're not one of the bigger college football programs, and they are not even eligible for the college football playoff as we know them. They're in a different league, essentially. North Dakota State has a history of putting quarterbacks out into the NFL. Now, whether those quarterbacks work out in the NFL, that's a completely different story, but they've put out quarterbacks very high picks like Trey Lance, Carson Wentz, and Easton Stick. There's also even some more quarterbacks that I'm forgetting. They essentially have an NFL quarterback, future NFL quarterback, that is almost every year in North Dakota. Cole Payton comes in at 6'3", 232 pounds, and just like Solak described, he is a dual threat quarterback. Cole Payton is someone that knows how to read defenses, can make the throws, but at the same time gives you a running option from the quarterback position. You were able to call running plays for the quarterback like a QB draw, or you can do what the Jets, of course, want to do on offense, which is option stuff where our quarterback, whoever that is, can either hand it off to Breece Hall, pitch it to a third back, or run the football themselves. Some of the strengths of Cole Payton coming from NFL.com. Possesses the sturdy frame of an NFL quarterback. That matters, especially a quarterback who is mobile and is going to be taking a lot of hits. Cole Payton, 232 pounds. That's a frame that can get tackled and continue getting up without putting the heart of your offense, which is your quarterback, in injury trouble. Dual threat with 31 career rushing touchdowns. He knows how to find the end zone when his name is called. Piles on scores with both called and manufactured runs. Of course, called plays, called runs when the coach in the huddle calls a play for you, and then manufactured, it was a pass play and he decides to take it himself, make something out of nothing, and go make a play for his team. Left-handed passer who can roll left and throw accurate strikes on the move. Now, usually you don't want to have a left-handed quarterback because the football spins differently, which makes it a little bit different for your wide receivers. However, it can be viewed as a positive as your wide receivers get to spend the offseason training with a left-handed quarterback. They can get used to the spin over the offseason, and then when the season starts, it's actually a disadvantage for defensive backs because our receivers, they're already expecting and they are prepared and used to the spin of the football. While a DB trying to get the interception, his hands are probably already worse than your wide receiver's hands are. He's going to drop the football because he's caught off guard by the type of spin that Payton would have put on it. Above average placement on deep throws outside the numbers. North Dakota State quarterbacks always seem to have strong arms. They're always dual threat guys as well. So no surprise that Cole Payton does not struggle to get the football outside the numbers. Poised beyond experience level, creating winning plays under duress. Now, yeah, does not have a ton of experience. As we are going to see from his weaknesses, he only has 1 season of starting experience, which historically, someone with that few starts is not a good situation. They played their 12 normal games, and then the playoffs for FCS, they got upset in the second round. So we would have played only 14 starts, if assuming that he didn't start, in any previous season, which is what this bullet point is telling us. So that's 1 game less than the 15 games started by Ty Simpson. The difference between Ty Simpson and Cole Payton is Cole Payton would be being taken in the 6th round, so you are not taking the risk that you would be taking when you are selecting Ty Simpson as high as he would be required to go for him to join your football team. Next point here, needs a makeover with his passing mechanics. As Solak said, his windup is a little bit too long. It's a little bit weird. Once he gets to the NFL level and he is surrounded by NFL coaches, and his job day in and day out is to learn how to throw the football as effectively as possible, he will be able to correct this at the NFL level. Unable to generate NFL caliber drive throws into tight windows. Again, Ben Solak touched on this, said once his arm, the way his throwing motion, once his throwing motion is corrected, then there will be more zip on the football. Also, some quarterbacks historically have came into the league struggling to put zip on the ball, and they've actually learned that at the NFL level. It's rare. It happened with Drew Brees. I hate going back 20 years to pull out an outlier like that. We always say don't bet on outliers, but if you were taking Cole Payton out of FCS and a quarterback on day 3, he already has to be an outlier to make something of himself at the NFL level. Not prepared to dissect zone coverage into intermediate spaces, needs more experience, but we already knew that from that first bullet point, with only has 1 season of starting experience at the FCS level. Not even the FBS level, FCS level. So, of course, he's not going to be great at reading zone defenses. He hasn't played enough football yet. Likely requires a tailored scheme to fit his strengths and weaknesses. Most dual threat quarterbacks do have a tailored scheme around them, so this really isn't that bad of a bullet point, although you would like a quarterback who is a little bit more cerebral, someone who can fit into more schemes. However, I'm sure Aaron Glenn looks at a player like this, sees the athleticism, and instead of thinking, how is that quarterback going to fit into my scheme, he is already thinking, and I know it's not Aaron Glenn's, it's Frank Reich that's going to put it together, but Aaron Glenn still has some say in it. Aaron Glenn and Frank Reich are thinking, how can I make a scheme that works for that player? That's what the best coaches are able to do. They make the scheme work for their players. They don't do it the other way around, and they're able to actively adapt their scheme to the type of players that they have in the locker room. This would be a flyer. This would be a Hail Mary, but the Jets need to find a long-term quarterback. The historically successful strategies for other teams, for whatever reason, have not been successful in New York. So maybe it's time to muck it up, start taking some dart throws at the quarterback position, and just see what happens. That's what I got for this video. If you stuck around this long, I appreciate you taking the time to watch the video all the way through. Please hit that like button if you haven't already. Hit the subscribe button if you're new to the channel, and go Jets.